let's have a look now at the tennis, because we've got to talk about the fantastic return of women's tennis to Queen's, to the grass courts of Barron's Court in West London. It's been a long time since we've had the women there, and what a start to them returning. We had Tatjana Maria knocking off four top 20 players in a row to claim her first ATP WTA
That would be
500
really
title.
impressive. Wrong event, Kim.
Dear. I still can't go with the fact that women have returned to Queens. Yeah, what a fantastic story. She's not only like the oldest tour winner since Serena did it 5 years ago. She's a mother of two. She's 37. She's a qualifier. Like, we knew she was nifty on grass, having reached the latter stages of
Semi-finals.
Wimbledon before. But did we expect her to beat four top 20 players and come away with this title quite seamlessly towards the end? It was as well.
It's got to be a no. Come on.
I mean, I was looking at her form as well. She came in to Queen's qualifying on a 9-match losing streak. Like, she had no form whatsoever. And Kim, the way you talk about it, it genuinely is like multiple, Cinderella stories rolled into one. Because I think what I love about Tatjana Maria is that she kind of brings her family on the tour and kind of shares these moments, with them. And I mean, what better way and what better opportunity in the glorious sunshine in a final against Amanda Animisova, winning in straight sets after you've gone through quite a difficult patch. I mean, yeah, that's just such a nice moment, I think, to probably have and share with your family.
Yeah, her husband is her coach, and she's got a slightly daughter who's about maybe 12 years old, and then a younger one, and they were all there watching and supporting. It was really nice to see, because you don't often get kind of older kids who are able to like witness their parents still, working their magic on the tennis court. And I mean, I don't know if she had thoughts about kind of retiring, but she'll be compelled to keep going with, the best title of her career, the best moment of her career, age 37. It kind of gives us all hope, I think. And yeah, I think maybe even Novak Djokovic can maybe take some comfort from this. Like, maybe his best moment of his career is still around the corner. Who knows?
It could be, couldn't it? I think what's so nice about this story is that she didn't get those ranking points back in 2022. I think when she made the semi-finals, it was the year where there was no ranking points attached to Wimbledon. Very strange scenario. And that obviously would have propelled her ranking into quite a different spot. And you felt particularly bad for her in that moment because of the fact that she would have been a bit later on in her career. It would have made a big difference in terms of the prize money of the tournament she could enter. And now, I mean, if you look at her ranking, she's so close to being up there at her highest ranking. She's almost back up to 42. She's at 43 now. And you just think, this is just the story that didn't end in 2022. It kept going. And I feel like maybe there's a bit of like, I don't know, justice for her in some way, that she does get the points on the grass and she does get to potentially get some more of those opportunities that she still deserves, obviously, for playing so well.
I mean, Chris, what is it about Tatjana Maria's game that has a lot of people talking about her as like one of the last of a dying breed of grass court specialists on the WTA tour? What is it about her game that enables her to kind of pull these upsets and seemingly play above, her ranking regardless of form, and take out some pretty stellar opposition?
I think she plays the game almost like because Monica sort of Nicolescu style, where there's a lot of slice forehands, an awful lot of shots that make it really, really difficult to stay low, and shots that these players don't practice all the time. Like the likes of Anisimova and Madison Keys are not playing against this sort of shot, and they're not really hitting shots that can be effective off it. So that's probably why she's so effective on the grass. She's also very effective. I think it's over in Colombia, where there's very low ball bounces on that clay. So I think the lower the bounce of the surface, the more problems she can cause her opponents. But interestingly, the only player that could almost handle her, who almost took her out in, I think it was the round of 16, was Muchova. And that doesn't surprise me because she has so many skills, great slices. So I think if you draw Tatjana Maria at Wimbledon, you will need to immediately find someone with a pretty decent slice to practice with.
Yeah. I mean, she came through Animisova in straights, Madison Keys in straight sets, Rybakina in straight sets. It's just fantastic in terms of the caliber of the opposition that she was defeating. And
Madison,
also, yeah,
honestly,
comfortably.
Madison Keys, I watched the semi-final live. It didn't just feel like Madison Keys had a game plan or just knew how to deal with this this type of ball that was coming to her. It was very low, not in her strike zone, and it really shows that even if you are like, I guess, an ultra aggressive player who likes to play off the baseline and kind of tee off on those short balls, if you can upset their rhythm, it can really go. It's kind of, I think, shows how vulnerable they are if their A game isn't necessarily working, and it might make Rybakina and Keys think a little bit more about these types of players, even though they may not necessarily come across too often. They're going to need to evolve their game styles to play better against them.
Maybe only for one part of the year. I think they probably could be forgiven that.
That's the tricky thing.
Do you change how you play? But I think it's that transition game. There are a lot of times they kind of got stuck in the middle of the court and then she chipped over a lob. And you feel like they kind of get there and they're like, this is not where I normally am. I'm not behind the baseline. I'm not on the baseline. What do I do? So do you think she could do something really special at Wimbledon again? Is that still on the cards? Or do you think 2 special or 3 special things don't often come around?
Can she maintain this?
I think it's quite funny because although she reached the semi-finals at Wimbledon, her last 2 appearances at Wimbledon, she's lost in the first round. So
So you're saying no, this was the
start. She's gonna have to kind of, I guess, change the form book once again. At Wimbledon, but she's certainly playing well, and I feel like she's a player that none of the kind of the big seeds will want to face early on because she is so dangerous, and she has a very effective style against what I feel like is the norm or the model recipe that a lot of players on the women's tour play with.
Yeah, so she's a nightmare of a dangerous floater in the draw, is what we're saying.
Yes, definitely not one you want to face, even if she isn't going to execute how she did at Queen's. You still don't want to take that chance, do you? I mean, let's have a look at some of the other results. Obviously, a lot of British players in the draw. Emma Raducanu getting to the quarterfinals, losing to Zheng in straight sets. We also had a good win for Sonne Cartel over Kazakina and Heather Watson over Putintseva as well. So a couple of nice wins in there. How did you rate, the Brits' performance over the tournament?
Yeah, I think obviously Raducanu she did well to get to the quarterfinals. She has pulled out of Berlin next week, so I think there are kind of lingering physical issues there. She spoke in press about a back spasm, something that she's going to have to manage. I was sort of looking at that and thinking, though, well, she played the singles and the doubles with Katie Boulter, so I was like wondering how bad is it? But in terms of singles, I thought Raducanu played very well. When she came up against Zheng, I just think, particularly with her serve, I feel like you can clearly see it's a work in progress. And there are a few nerves, I think, at the beginning. There was a few kind of double faults. So I feel like there are aspects of her game that she is looking to improve. And perhaps Queen's, has come a little bit earlier. And I'm hoping she can get it all ready, for Wimbledon. I think what's great is that she's got Mark Petchey and Nick Cavaday in her team, and both of them are going to be there for the whole of the grass court season. So it's like there's the best setup possible for her to succeed. Let's just hope that she's able to manage her body and get things right on serve, because I think if she can get things right on serve, I think that's going to help her a lot more against these higher quality opponents like Zheng, who, was a bit too much on her day for her.
Yes. Well, let's have a look now at the other grass court events that took place. We obviously always have Den Bosch, the Libema Open in the Netherlands, and it was not quite a home player, but a very local-ish player, Belgian Elise Mertens winning this one, straight sets in the final over Elena Gabriela Rus of Romania. Remarkably, Elise Mertens, this is her 10th WTA singles title, but it's her very first on grass. I thought she'd won one on grass. I pictured her having already ticked that box, so she's surprised me a little bit, but she does now have a title on all surfaces, so fantastic for Mertens, who's always been a very consistent stalwart player of the WTA tour. How impressive was Mertens? I mean, the final itself was fine, but the semi-final I think is the peak of the week, wasn't it?
Peak Mertens.
She saved many match points.
11 match points. I was actually watching that match. I wasn't going to confess that to Joel that I was streaming it because I just thought this is it. Because Alexandrova, she's on this crazy run at this tournament,
I was
having won
getting
it
messages
before.
about this match on
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
Oh, this was the talk of the tennis community. You know, forget that Alcaraz Sinner final. It was all about the Libema Open semi-final between these two because 11 match points saved is something that's truly crazy, especially with someone who has such a good serve as Alexandrova. So I think this win, you felt like if she didn't win the final, it almost would
Oh,
be
it
a
would have
bit
been such a
harsh.
letdown,
I just
wasn't
felt
it?
she won that
Yeah.
semi-final. It's one of those ones you think, hand her the plate, hand her the trophy. She's done enough.
Yeah, because Alexandra very good at this tournament. So she didn't want to give up her mantle without without a fight. Took 11 match points to get past her, and yeah, super nice that Mertens was able to go all the way. There has been another match this century that where someone's saved 11 match points on the tour. Do either of you want to take any guess as to
Oh, it's
where
probably
that
probably
was?
someone playing against my favorite Hanchikova, who probably squandered them all.
It wasn't actually. No, it was in 2001. It was Svetlana Kuznetsova against Virginia Ruano Pascal in Madrid. So
Do you
it
remember that
doesn't
one?
Wow.
happen very often.
Wait, who won that? We don't know, but I
Oh, I
imagine
don't know. I'd have to Google, but
Kuznetsova.
yes. But yeah, drama out at the Libema Open there. And yeah, obviously I think Queen's had the higher caliber draw, but you know, Elise Mertens is the third seed coming through and getting a title to add to her, you know, expanding list. It's still got a bit of life left in Elise Mertens to come.